Of all the people I have chanced upon in life, there is no one who has left a greater impression. Months have passed, but still, Raif Effendi haunts my thoughts. As I sit here alone, I can see his honest face, gazing off into the distance, but ready, nonetheless, to greet all who cross his path with a smile. Yet, he was hardly an extraordinary man. Indeed, he was rather ordinary, with no distinguishing features, no different from the hundreds of others we meet and fail to notice in the course of a normal day. Indeed, there was no part of his life, public or private, that might give rise to curiosity. He was, in the end, the sort of man who causes us to ask ourselves, what do they live for? What do they find in life? What logic compels them to keep breathing? What philosophy drives them as they wander the earth? But we ask in vain if we fail to look beyond the surface, if we forget that beneath each surface lurks another realm in which a caged mind whirls alone. It is perhaps easier to dismiss a man whose face gives no indication of an inner life. And what a pity that is. A dash of curiosity is all it takes to stumble upon treasures we never expected. That said, we rarely seek that which we do not expect to find. Send a hero into the dragon's den, and his task is clear. It is a hero of another order who can summon up the courage to lower himself into the well of which we have no knowledge. Certainly, this was not the case for me. If I came to know Raif Effendi, it was happenstance, pure and simple. After losing my modest post in the bank, I am still not sure why they said it was to reduce costs, but within the week they had hired someone else. I spent a long time seeking work in Ankara. My meagre savings kept me going through the summer, but as winter approached, I knew that my days of sleeping rough on French sofas would soon come to an end. Don't mind me, I'm merely catching up with some reading. I've done this walk so many times before that I know every part of it off by heart practically. So it afforded me some time and space to do a bit of reading, and Tess filming me in a landscape reading as a visual. Certainly not something you could spend an entire walk doing, not least because this path is treacherous and is a real ankle bender. You can very quickly roll an ankle on this stuff, but this is probably my favourite walk in the Lake District, bar none. I'm trying to think of something that I prefer other than this, other candidates, but this one always seems to come out on top for me. You might understand why when you see where I'm going and the view from where I'm going, because this walk ends up at LINGMELL. I believe the view from LINGMELL, the vista from the top of LINGMELL, is one of the best in the Lake District. Although today it's probably not going to look that great because it's just clear, flat, blue sky with a nuclear-powered lighting rig above us, constantly beaming down. So don't expect too much maybe, but who knows. The forecast is a bit of cloud this afternoon, so it might, if I survive this path, it might improve photographically, photogenically, and the vista will reveal itself. Let's see. Down there is Seathwaite. That's where I parked. So I've just walked on this side of the river, the Gill, the quieter side. Most people go up the other side and miss out a rather spectacular waterfall, which is just a little bit up the way here. This waterfall is one of the reasons why I love this walk. You know, one of the several reasons. There are others. The route goes along the corridor route, which is a well-known route up to Scafell Pike. It's a kind of real walker's route up to Scafell Pike and not the touristy path that goes up there and on the other side as well. But I think the best part of this walk, if it's not the view from LINGMELL, is possibly the walk alongside Piers Gill. So after I've summited LINGMELL, I'll be heading down back towards Styhead Tarn and Seathwaite via Piers Gill. And what a treat that is, hopefully. This is not a Stuart Marshall route or anything. It's a pretty, leisurely walk for me this. It's about 10 miles. Nothing major. Nothing too strenuous. Just maximum exposure to a wild and rugged landscape. And some of the best views in England, in my opinion. And there we have the first breathtaking view of the day. So let's take off some more layers because it's so hot already. It's 10 o'clock. I'm ventilating everything that I've got at the minute. I don't really have any more layers to take off. I'm hoping it's going to get a bit cooler. This is a bit of a scramble, all this, but it's nothing too technical. It's very enjoyable actually. Plenty of footholds and handholds. Just take your time. No rush. Up, 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 up. Tell you what. Whew. Whew. So what we need to do now is get up this, which looks like a cliff face from here, but it's pretty simple. And after I've had a 5-minute break, I'll get to it. But for now, I'm just going to take in this view for a few minutes. So is anyone coming up behind me? No, pretty quiet so far. I do have a head-mounted camera thing, adapter, to wear on my head, so I can keep my hands free, which I might put that on. You know, rather than try and film it, you really do need to put your kind of hands on rock for this. So it might be a bit boring, but I don't know, it might not be. We'll find out. nice and steady, just so you can listen to my moaning and groaning. See, it looks quite scary from down there, but once you're on it, it's pretty straightforward. Just 3 points of contact, the usual. You know, it's balance. Keep your balance. Take your time. It's all good. It's fun. I mean, I love a good scramble like this. This is my kind of scramble. I actually prefer this to, say, striding edge. Yeah, I don't really like striding edge that much because it's an ankle bender and the angle of the rocks is not good for your feet, your ankles. You can easily roll over on your ankle on striding edge and cause yourself some misery. I'm not going to say that. That wasn't exactly a breeze. So, what I am noticing with all these paths is that they had significantly more and more footfall over the past couple of years. I think since COVID, you know, hiking's kind of exploded really. And of course, social media and those Instagrammers, you know, it's just packed everywhere you go. The bank holiday is an absolute no-no, you know, for me now. I wouldn't even dream of coming to the Lake District on a bank holiday. You know, I won't even come on a weekend really. You know, even weekends are a pain. I don't know how much of that scramble I was able to film. Probably not much, but you know, I'm sure there's some usable bits. So I'm just coming up to where this quiet path joins a busy touristy path. So even though we've had a month of rain, it's still very low. There's not much water around compared to previous years. You know, I've struggled getting across this in the past, this time of year, but not today. Here we are. At the proper path. Well, kind of, if you can call it a proper path. It's the path up to Styhead Tarn, which is about 400 metres up there. Oh, come on, clouds. Keep forming, that's it. Keep. So, the sun hat is on. Hopefully I didn't leave it too late and look like a salmon tomorrow. So, up there, LINGMELL, my final destination before heading back. And the scar that you see running, well, you might not see it, but the scar that you might see running up the side of it is Piers Gill. So, my next port of call is to find a nice spot somewhere along the corridor route and have a break, sit down for 20 minutes and have my flask of tea and some caviar. So, here we are. And that is the beginning of the corridor route right there, right in front of me. Old friend. So I don't know how much you can see, it kind of goes up there, and it goes over this, and over that kind of hillock over there, and then round up here, and then onto the col between LINGMELL and Scarfell Pike. There's Piers Gill, the big crack, chasm running down the side of it. It's funny really, because I feel like I owe this path a huge debt of gratitude. When I first walked it, I was completely blown away by it, and I mean completely blown away. There are, a handful of times in your life where you're truly, shocked by what you are seeing, and this was one of them. Although I'd been hiking a little bit since I was a kid, I was always in the lakes as a kid, but it was like Tarn House, Gummers How, that kind of thing. Maybe Coniston Old Man. But I'd never seen rocks and geology quite like this, and it gave me a kind of, I don't want to say spiritual awakening, but it gave me a beep, beep awakening. And I was hooked, and I fell in love with hiking there and then. Unfortunately, I wasn't very fit, so it took me ages, and I was absolutely drenched with sweat. I was drenched with it. And I wasn't going to LINGMELL that day, I was going to Scarfell Pike. And by the time I'd got to the top of Scarfell Pike, I had torn my ACL a little bit and was in a bit of distress, shall we say. It took me 8 hours to get down, to limp down. It was so bad, and so it wasn't so much painful. It was like, as you know, if you've done it, you literally can't really put your weight on it. So you could do like 5 steps, 10 steps, and then have a break for a minute. 60 seconds goes by, and then you do another 5 to 10 steps, which basically how I did it. I basically could do 10 steps, and then I'd have to stop. 10 steps and then stop, 10 steps and then stop. And it took 8 hours to get back to Seathwaite. Not one of my favourite days, but I was still blown away by this. So I'm not going up Scarfell Pike today. Oh no. Why would we want to do that? No, I mean you can. I wouldn't even, if I was recommending this walk, I would say do this route, go to LINGMELL, and then if you've got time, go off over to Mickledore and have a look at the view from Mickledore, looking into Great Moss and that vista there. If you're looking for a couple of magnificent vistas, there you go. Top of LINGMELL and Mickledore. A couple of the best. So thankfully there is some cloud cover now, and we're getting some nice shadows, some contrast. It's not just all flat and boring. Great Gable looking great. God, what's been going on this path for the last year? It's quite unbelievable, the difference. Right, I'm going to get off the path a little bit, find somewhere to sit, and just stare at this view of Great Gable. Every failed job application drained me of all hope, even when I knew from the outset that my chances were nil. Cut off from my friends, I would go from shop to shop, seeking work as a salesman. Rejected by them all, I would wander the streets in despair for half the night. From time to time, my friends would invite me over for supper, but even as I sat there enjoying their food and drink, the fog refused to lift. Had my cup of tea, and I'm back on the road again, the path again. This is kind of one of the few kind of semi-technical bits. It's alright though. It's nothing too stressful. So, that's the toughest bit of the whole walk probably. But it just requires a little bit of stretching, going down on your bum kind of thing. Magnificent. As much as this is my favourite route, or arguably my favourite route, it probably is. The real purpose of this walk is to go in search of vistas. And the vista specifically at the top, or from the top of LINGMELL. What do you think, Mr. Sheep? Yeah? Probably bored of the views, aren't you? It's looking like we might get something semi-photogenic. Fingers crossed. Look at that geology there. See millions of years of sediment, layers and layers, sediment and volcanic activity, and sediment and sediment. You can see it would all have been flat on the ground at some point. Same as that over there, it's just at an angle now. You see that a lot in the lakes. It's like the Great Slab on Bowfell. It's like, you can see where it's just been forced upwards at an angle. It's like a giant pastry crust, and it's still smooth and straight. It's quite a sight when you see it up close and realise that it used to be flat, and now it's up in the air at an angle at the top of a mountain. And here we are, bit of a landmark. It's like a whale almost. It's a whale-shaped pool. I like to think of it as a whale anyway. And there we have Piers Gill. And there it is. Not to be ventured into. You know, the average hiker, if they go down there, will either need rescuing or they'll fall and potentially kill yourself. It's very, very dangerous place. I think it's it's one of the hot spots for mountain rescue. They're always rescuing somebody from down in there. But it's easy to make the mistake of going down into it, you know, thinking it's the path. So I'm not far from my objective, just up there, LINGMELL. And over there, on this side of Piers Gill, you can see the path I'll be taking back down towards Styhead Tarn. So you might be able to see the beginnings of the vista that I am talking about. Look at it, it's just magnificent, isn't it? Scarfell Pike up there. Not for today or tomorrow. Where I've been, and I just have this little final bit of ascent here in front of me up onto the top of LINGMELL. 100 feet maybe. Scarfell, Hillgill Head and Wastwater now in view. To the west, almost there. There it is. What a view. Panning round, great end there in the centre of screen. Styhead Tarn down there. Great gable now in the centre. And just up there is the summit. Piers Gill down there, looking epic. So I don't really want to get too close to the cairn actually. I would hate to stumble by accident and fall and put my hand on the cairn and bag it by accident. That would be a tragedy, wouldn't it? I'll get this as close as I'm getting. But there it is, that's the vista that I was talking about. Piers Gill. Back at Piers Gill, the beginning of Piers Gill. So now instead of going back the way I came, which was that way, I'm going to go along there now, along the edge of Piers Gill. Let's get into it. Ooh. Oh. Yeah, I mean, I love the corridor route. I love the place where you start, Seathwaite. I love the waterfall. I love the view from the top of LINGMELL, obviously. Love it. And I love this walk down here by the English Grand Canyon. There's other reasons as well. Sentimental reasons. When I said that earlier technical area was maybe the trickiest bit of the walk, I forgot about another bit actually. That's the trickiest bit on the corridor route, but on this Piers Gill path there is actually a bit of a crag that you need to climb down, and it's you know, it's not, there's plenty of footholds and handholds, but it is, you know, it is a cliff. It is a kind of a cliff. It's a cliff face, a crag face. So I forgot about that, but that will be coming up in a wee while, and I won't be able to film it, so you'll just have to take my word for it. Oof. Okay, now. Yep, you can see the signs saying don't go any further down there. It's amazing how many people get trapped in it. It's important that I don't slip here. Amazing what water erosion can do over hundreds of thousands of years. A couple of million maybe, give or take. So the vista is still there, it's just a slightly different angle now. Ah, there it is. It seems like nothing in this camera, but believe you me, that is a little bit tricky. Nevertheless, I've got to get to the bottom of it. And the bottom is down there. I wonder if you can see that sheep in the shot. Bit of scale. See it? Right. Let's get it done. Oh God, right, okay, I'm down. I'm sure I can hear voices. But I came down that. And it was steep. You can feel little tears in your muscles as you're doing it. Whew. Yeah. I was hoping some people were coming down behind me so I could show you the scale, but I must be imagining things. I can bloody hear people, but I don't know where they are. Maybe they're at the top of LINGMELL and it's just... Oh no, there they are. There are people. There they are, up there. That's where the voices came from. Well done to them. Got a kid with them, that's why. I did know there was an alternate path, but I've never done it. I think it's a more kind of dog-friendly, child-friendly route up. Down there is where I need to go. Path's down here. Down there. Okay. I'll go around this way slightly though. So I'm getting to the point now where I need a break and put some food in me old belly. Energy reserves are low. Even with views like this. Look at that. Look at that. Insane. Unbelievable. I mean, the only downside to this walk is this section of the path next to Piers Gill goes right down into the valley floor, the bottom, which means there's a bit of a slog back up to Styhead Tarn. But it's worth it. It's worth it. As long as it's not too hot, it's no big deal. With that, I take my leave. The more I need my friends, the more I longed to run away. One evening, I was ambling along the quiet road between the station and the exhibition hall, breathing in the beauties of an Ankara autumn. The sun reflected in the windows of the People's House had punctured this white marble building with holes, the colour of blood hovering over the pine saplings, and everything in this scene seemed content to be where it was. All was well with the world. All was in its proper place. There was, I thought, nothing more I could do. You know, a lot of racket coming from up there somewhere. Okay, so I'm just dropping down to the valley floor. Thank you. Before I start my big slog back up again. I've got to get back up there in a bit. It's about 400 or 500 feet. It's not tiny, but it's about 400 feet maybe. You know, every time I do this walk, I do have a little bit of an add-on to it, and that is a little walk around Keswick and a solitary pint at the Bank Tavern. So I've just crossed this little beck and I need to head back up here, up to there. No, it's not 500 feet, it's about, it's 300 feet tops. Let's get it done. So, that's the top of LINGMELL where I was. And I went down over there behind this crag here. Then I came all the way down Piers Gill, all the way down there, down the path, down, all the way down to the valley floor down there, and then I've come all the way up here. So in, down, back up, and I'm aiming to get around this corner here and up kind of up that direction. And this is a slog. Whew. Okay, let's get on with it. Okay, so I'm just kind of aiming to get in between these two crags here. 100 feet. And then that will be, well, basically the last ascent of the day. Let's see if I make it alive. Here it is. Just this little last bit up to the stretcher box. Oh, thank God for that. Well on the home straight now. That down there is Seathwaite. Another thing about this walk is this last couple of miles is a slog. Oh gosh. It's a never-ending path into Seathwaite. It just seems to go on forever. But we'll get there. felt this in my bones when I told her of my thoughts as I sat at her bedside, and how I'd imagined her dying. She blinked several times, but nothing more. At last I reached the end of my tale. I had nothing more to say, and neither, it seemed, did she. We sat there in silence for perhaps 10 minutes. Then she turned to face me, opening her eyes, and for the first time in a long while she smiled, faintly, or so it seemed to me, and in a soft voice she said, "Shall we go to bed?"